Hey y'all, happy Thursday, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Talk About It Thursday here on the Journey Podcast, where I am your host, Kiara. Ah! My signature scream. I hope that you guys are having the best week that you know how to have. I'm having a good week. This week is good. I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited about all the things. I'm so excited about my level of preparedness coming on, um, and sharing with you guys. I'm so excited about this whole season, honestly. And so I hope that you guys were able to tune into Sunday's episode. And those that are watching on the visuals, I hope you enjoyed the extra notes that I put in there. If you are listening to the audio only, the notes are available on the website for you to see what I posted. And also if you um if you don't have YouTube for whatever reason, um, the YouTube video is actually available for you on the website as well. So you can just go on to the journeypodcast.life, check out the website, check out the latest video. You can also check out the audio on the website too for the last like 4 or 5 videos, I think, which is nice too. So if you guys have not been utilizing the website, it is there for so many different reasons. If you don't have all of those platforms, go on the website. You can listen on the website. You can view it on the website. Yeah, yeah. So the Journey Podcast Life. Go look. Go um engage. Do something. But yeah, so excited. We're gonna go ahead and dive into um this week's episode of Talk About It Thursday. And like I said, this whole season is just about rebranding, what that looks like, what that feels like, how's it going, and so forth and so on. So, um, I think that I feel like we always stop at, and I talked about this in a couple of episodes ago, how we always stop in um, identifying when it's time to become the better version of ourselves, but we never really get into what that looks like. What's after that? After I've identified my need or my desire or the strong urge to be a better version of myself, what's next? I mean, I identify. What do I do? Do I listen to a podcast? That could help. But really the question is, who do I have to become to be this person that I strongly desire to be? Who do I have to become to be who I feel like God is calling me to be? What does that look like? Um, and so like my next question to myself, which there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions that you ask after you have identified, like, no, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be better than this. I want to be um I want to be the best version of myself. So what qualities do I have to possess to be that person? What things do I have to let go to be that person? um what standards do I have to have? What boundaries do I have to create? Like how like what's next? Really, that's the ultimate question. What's next? And so here we are. We've identified, and now we're asking these questions. Um, and these questions need answers. And so at this point, I feel like it's time to come to the conclusion that a self evaluation has to be done. What am I doing that's not working for me? Even if it's comfortable, because like we talked about, those patterns that are unhealthy, most of the time they're comfortable. I'm comfortable with pain, whatever. Matter of fact, my first apartment, guys, um, I got my first apartment in Charleston. It was in West Ashley, and it was in the Gardens. And my rent was $62. My rent was $62, and I was so happy. I was like, yes, I'm paying $62 for the year, baby. And I was comfortable in that. I was comfortable in a neighborhood that did not suit me after living there for however long it was. After a certain amount of time, I was like, I don't want to live here anymore. Um it was like school floors, and I'm not knocking anybody that has that's your living situation. There's nothing wrong with that as a stepping stone. But do you not want more? And so as I was growing in that time, I started wanting more, but more was going to cost me more than $62. And so I didn't know that I was ready for that. However, I had to prepare myself. I had to get ready for what was next for me. So I sat there, and I had a hard time parting ways from what was easy, what was comfortable, what was, my kids. I just had two kids at the time. My kids had their own rooms. We didn't even use one room. I had a three-bedroom. I was using the third bedroom as like a toy room or something. And it was just like I was comfortable. Like I was okay with that. But I know that I wanted better. I knew that there was more for me in life. And so um I came up with an action plan. I've shared with you guys before. I journal a lot, and I just kind of was writing down what's next. I prayed a lot. That was a time where I just was like consistently on my face, God, what's next for me? What do I do now? Um, all in all, I ended up packing up my things, my kids and I, packing up our things and going back to my mom's house. And I was back at the drawing board. Um, Here I stepped out on faith, and I learned something from that. Um, I learned how to live on my own. I learned how to pay bills. I had my light bill. I had my rent, my little $62. It was $62, but it was I was 19, I was what no, 19 going into 20. And so I had learned how to make sure that I had money for rent when rent was due. At the time it was $62, but it is not about what the amount was. It was the amount of discipline that I had, budgeting and taking care of my two children at the time, and just making everything be what it's supposed to be. And so here I was. I didn't take for granted any anything that I learned. I didn't feel like I was moving backwards. I didn't feel like anything. Felt like next time I step out, I'm gonna be prepared. And it was simply because I had to learn a lot of things on my own. So, as an adult, I had to learn how to be an adult as an adult. I didn't learn prior to becoming an adult how to be an adult. I didn't learn prior to becoming a mom how to be a mom. I didn't learn prior to becoming an aunt how to be an aunt. I just had to, well, and for aunts, I had role models. I had a mom, so I knew what I had family, so I knew what qualities I did want to take from them and what qualities I didn't want to take from them. Um, and so, with that being said, I had to learn. I learned something from me stepping out on faith, and when I knew in my heart and in my mind that I wanted to go to the next level, I started writing out an action plan. And so my action plan was simply me just saying, hey, what's next? What do I do next? How am I going to start over? How am I going to save? This next version of you may just have to have financial discipline. This next version of you may have to learn how to say no. This next version of you may have to know how to walk away from people that no longer will have served their purpose in your life. That you no longer that you won't need in the next level, that may keep you stagnant on the level that you're on and just hold you back from moving to the next level. So it's a lot of things that you have to evaluate. You have to evaluate your friend circle. You have to evaluate your career. What am I getting out of this career? Am I, um, does this new version of me, is this new version of me an entrepreneur? Um, do I know how to budget my finances? Do I know how to manage my finances? Those are a lot of things that, just that you have to sit back and just ask yourself. Your rebrand requires you to start acting like the person you want to be. Now, um, there's two different type of people. There are people that are trying to convince others that there's something that they're not. Convince others that they live a life that is worry free, carefree, and they are a whole mess behind closed doors. But then there are people that have actually done the work, that are actually really like that are really who they say they are, that really can show up. And yeah, there are people that are really like, so it's two different types of people, and you have to choose which one you want to be. You can live in the idea of the next version of who you'd like to be, or the version of who you, or hold on. You can pretend you are who God called you to be, or you can actually be who God called you to be. A lot of the time, a lot of times we get stuck on the idea of who God called us to be, where we know that there's more for us. We know that God is calling us higher, and we get so stuck on the fact that we were called. Okay, I called you. Are you coming? That's like as a parent, or that's like as an adult, you call a child, "Hey, come here," and they just so excited that you calling. Yay! They called me. Ah. Okay, are you gonna come? Or you got an award, and the winner is you. Are you gonna come? You come? No. You so excited I called you. You didn't even come to accept your award. And that's so crazy because a lot of the time we get stuck on being called. So you were called, you have to come. Now it's time for you to move. Now it's time for you to do the work. Are you going to do it? Or are you going to stand there in shock that you were called? You know? So here you are. You got that download. Boop, beep, boop. Got the download. And what's next? What are the next steps? What are you going to do to get to, which way are you going to go? You going to come straight on up, or you going to take the back? However you got to get there. You know, you got to get to where you were called. Oh, that is so good. I like that. Listen, I've been on it, okay? Y'all ain't got to tell me I know. And I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited because here we are. We are actually creating an action plan. And so, like I said, who do you have to become? What do you need to let go? These are things that we're writing down. We have to write these things down because we have to, I feel like, well, for me, when I write things down, I feel like it makes it legit. Like when I just think things in my head, it's just like, okay, I can forget that. But if I write it down and I can go back to it and can see, okay, this is what I said that I wanted to do. And this is what I know that I need to do. So how am I going to, get these things done? So we make some bullet points, point, 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 make our bullet points. And then we come with the different topics. Um, who isn't growing? Who isn't on the same level that I'd like to be on? And that's not downplaying anybody and saying that anybody is less than you. Because a lot of the times, like I said, people are like, "Oh, she thinks she better than me," or "He think he all that," or "He don't." Oh, you know what? One thing that people say, "Oh, she sit right there. She thinks she doing good now. She gonna have her day. He gonna have his day." Why are you wishing that on me? I done had the days. I was struggling. I done had them days. Let them be behind me. Let me make better decisions that serve myself and my family for me. I don't need your input on how to become the better version of myself, not unless you are somebody that I have actually seen do the work. These are people that have the people that have the loudest and the most input are people that there's no fruit. They bear no fruit. Trees with no fruit trying to tell you how to grow fruit. Ah, you go get out my face. Get out my face right now. Go. Because you cannot tell me what to do and you ain't done it. How? How do you know what to do and you ain't did it yet? How do you know how to get out of poverty and you've been in poverty all your life? Maybe you can tell me the mistakes that you've made, but not unless you just don't want to get out of it, you know? Um there's so many there's so many different things. And so here we are. And people that do this to your loved ones, stop making people feel bad for wanting to grow. Stop making people feel like, oh, you ain't include me in your plans. Yeah, because you're negative. And you always talk about the negative, you know? Like you say, oh, well, I'm proud of you, but please go ahead with that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You proud of me, but nothing. Okay, thank you. Leave it at that. Thank you for being proud of me. I appreciate it. Let's move on. So, we talked about the old habits that can't come with us, like procrastination, overgiving. Overgiving is definitely a bad thing. Sometimes we give more than what we have because we want to help others, but everybody cannot come where you're going all the time, especially people that you have to habitual habitually needy people. I don't know if that's a that y'all know what I'm talking about. People that just always needs. You know what? I know that I can always come to you for the same thing. Have you not learned anything where you might have the thing that you have need of instead of you having to come to me every single time you need something? How are we growing? How are you, where's the growth? What's going on? What's going on that um you aren't doing what it is that doing the work that you need to do. Um, so one of the main things I feel like in making your action plan, make sure you're prioritizing your peace. Whatever doesn't, and this is all really, guys, is not about like just being a different person. It's really just aligning yourself with who God calls you to be or what God calls you to do. It's about alignment. It's not about a show. It's not about, oh, following the trends. When you're rebranding your clothing line, of course you want to go along with what's trending. But when you're rebranding your life, what's trending is not important. What's on the internet is not important. God ain't on the internet saying, let me see who qualifies. No, that's not it. It's more to it than just that. And so we have to, a major distraction, I feel like, is social media and how social media says that your life should be and who social media says is successful and, and so forth and so on. And it's just like, get out of that. Get out of that. The work that you're doing is for you. The work that you're doing is for what comes from you, what will come from you, the legacy that you'll leave behind. That is why we're doing the work. We're not doing the work to make a social media post and be the hottest thing on the internet. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're looking to do. That's not what God called us to do. And so while that may be, while you might share your journey on social media because somebody else might need your journey, you never know. While you might share your journey, that shouldn't be the center of why you're doing the work. You should be doing this work because you know what it feels like to be stagnant. You know that there's more for you. And so, with that being said, um, we just gotta do the work. We gotta do the work. We got to do the work. We have to make that action plan so that we are making ourselves bigger than the program. It's time enough for making ourselves feel small. And so here we are, we're coming up with this action plan. What's next on the action plan? One, we have identified our desire to grow, or our need to grow. And then step two is coming up with this an action plan. Um, Step three is actually acting on that action plan. We didn't write this stuff down because we just like our handwriting. We wrote this stuff down to give us an agenda. When you go to work, um, you have some kind of powwow at the beginning where you're being told what is expected of you for the day. And guess what? In those 8, 10, 12 hours, you're making sure that you're getting all those things done. If you can do that on somebody's job, you can do that in your life. I'm going to say that one more time. If you can go to somebody's job and they can give you a list of things to do and you make sure that they're done in a timely manner, you can do that same thing with your action plan to becoming the better version of yourself. So you've done this action plan, you've wrote everything out. Let's not take 10 years to get to the next level. That's like how long it takes for the next Grand Theft Auto to come out. Who wants to wait that long? You make me want to not even play it no more. Because why is it taking so long to come? That was like Summer Walker's album. She made us wait for so long for this album to come out, and it's like, okay, I didn't got a new artist that I'm in love with. Don't get me wrong, love Summer Walker. Still my girl. Thank you. Thank you. But why are you making like we don't like why? Why am I waiting years to see the next version of yourself? You don't take years to finish, you don't take years or even weeks to finish your task at work. Come up with a time limit and let's get some discipline about this. I have to do this. This is something that I have to do for me. This is the only way that I'm going to get to the next level. This is the only way that I'm going to see the things that God has for me for real. If I stay here stuck with my head down, I'm never going to see what it is that I'm supposed to do, or I'm never going to see what I'm supposed to have. And I'm never going to be who God called me to be if I stay here and I just write out a plan and I just walk away from the plan and ain't never done anything on it. So here you are, you got your action plan. It's time to take action. It's time to go. It's time to get up out of that depression. Yeah, because a lot of us have suffered from depression. It's time for us to get up out of that. It's time for us to get up out of our comfortability. It's time to get up out of that position that we've been in at work for so many years. It's time for us to utilize those degrees that we went to school for. It's time, whether it's in at somebody's job or it's entrepreneurship. It's time to get up and it's time to make these things happen. What happens after you start making these things happen? You start dying to your old self. Those old habits, they just go away because you put them away. So here we are. We've self-reflected. We've done our action plan. We've done all the things. We're doing the work, y'all. And when you do the work and you're consistent, guess what? You see the results. You get to that next level. And then when you see that you can do it, you start to get like addicted to going to the next level. Okay, I can stay here for a little while, but at some point I'm going to outgrow this level and I got to move. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I like this one. But that's what's next. That's what's next. And we're gonna keep diving into this. We're gonna keep diving into what this looks like to rebrand, to revamp, to just yeah, yeah. We're gonna get into it for real. I hope I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this week's episode up. I hope that you guys enjoyed the visuals at the end. Like I said, if you are not on, if you're just listening to the audio for whatever reason, you're at work, you're in the car, um, or whatever, you're just listening to the audio. When you get time, go on the website and check out the video. Check out or go on YouTube. The Journey Podcast Life is our name on YouTube. Go on there and check it out. The video is also on the website too. So the Journey Podcast Life or the Journey Life. I mean the Journey Podcast Life on YouTube. I said that right. However, it's all in the credits. That's at the end of the video. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this Thursday's video for Talk About It Thursday. Can't wait to see y'all Sunday. I pray that you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I love y'all with my whole heart. And I am out.